There is a massive change coming to pool, and I am pretty certain that it is just around the corner. Let's think about what has happened to pool over the last few years. We've went from a traditional reds and yellows and a plain cue ball. Not so long ago, we introduced this little bad boy and people didn't like it at the time, but it's pretty cool now. We're now onto the fidget spinner cue ball. You can see on my table, I have set this up with Dynaspheres, which use numbered balls and spots and stripes. People are using break cues now. We have got gloves, we have got pool clothing, and we have got fancy chalks. The one area that hasn't moved on as much as the others is on cues, but I think that is about to change. I have been sent this cue by Bizu Billiards, and they've asked me to give it a try out and give my honest opinion on it. I really like how this cue looks. I've not had much of a play with it yet, so I'll give it a go soon. But in terms of looks, it is a carbon fibre shaft. So this black shaft, which looks pretty cool. The butt is a wooden butt, and what I really like about it is this on it. So this is actually a leather grip. It looks like snakeskin, but is a leather grip. So it's got texture to this. So I think this offers a couple of advantages. First, you're going to get good grip on this. You're not going to slide about on this. It's good grip. It feels nice in the palm of your hand. It is a 58-inch cue. Now, traditionally we use 57 inches in the UK, so it is an inch longer. And also, if you're someone like me, so I'm slightly under 6 foot, I don't tend to grip my cue right at the back of the cue. I tend to grip it further down, so I'm going to be right on the grip when I use this cue. The second thing is the carbon fibre shaft, I think does offer some distinct advantages. Now, it is really warm in the shed today. It is 27 degrees. I played for about an hour earlier with my cue. I'm quite warm, I'm quite sticky, and you can feel it. That moisture gets into your cue. So that's one advantage of wearing a glove as well. But moisture isn't going to get into this cue. It is absolutely really smooth, and it's quite easy and nice to wipe down even with your glove. It's also something that you don't see very often. It is a half jointed cue. So this used to be something that you saw in snooker and pool in the UK for quite some time. What this does is it makes it easy to transport about, and you can see that it goes together quite easily there. Now, something else that the Americans do that we don't is that this offers more advantages. So at the moment, a lot of UK players will be using a break cue and their playing cue. What you can do with this one, and it is available on Bizu Billiards website, and I'll place a link in the description so you can check it out. You can actually buy a different shaft for this. You can buy a breaking shaft. So all you need to do is carry about one cue that has got two shafts, so a lot less for you to carry around, and just swap them about, and it makes it quite easy. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to play the lineup. I'm going to have a bit of a hit with the cue, see how it feels, and give you my honest thoughts on how it plays. So what I'll do is I'll just put a few balls in the lineup. We'll take them in any pocket, in any order, and what that will do is it'll let me play the kind of shorter positional shots using stun, screw, and topspin. So it'll let me get a feel for the cue in terms of how it plays, what the position is like, the kind of power within the cue. You can see there, I played a backspin shot there, and I didn't hit that particularly hard, but I got quite a lot of action on that. So straight away, the cue is feeling quite good. And what I would say as well is the shaft that I have been given is a 12.5mm shaft. Now, any regular viewers to my channel will know that I like a really thin cue. Mine is 7.5mm, so it's quite hard for me. You've probably seen me use thicker cues in the past, and I really struggle with them. I struggle to even pot the ball, never mind get position. So it's quite surprising that, you know, straight away I've got a bit of a feel for this cue. It does come in different thicknesses. which is another good thing. So 12.5mm, if you're probably a person who plays with 9, 10, 11mm tips, you won't notice the difference going to this, but I do. But you can get the same cue in different thicknesses. So if you buy it and you think that, you know, it's just not right for you, then you can swap it out and try a different thickness. And that's good as well, because if you get a wooden cue that you particularly like, but it is not to your specification, then you might have to get that cue altered in some way. You might have to get it thinned down, for example. With these types of cues, you just swap the shaft out. So it's good in that respect. And I have noticed, you know, these types of cues are creeping their way into the UK. Anthony McGill, who is an absolutely phenomenal snooker player, was using one recently. And they have, I'm going to play a topspin shot so I can move over that side of the table and just play a few topspin shots now, because I've mainly been using stun and screw. They have been tried out in snooker before, probably in about the mid-90s. Graphite and carbon cues were there for a little while. They didn't really take off, which is a bit of a shame. But I think it was probably less about the cue and more about people's perception at that point. Snooker was a really, really traditional sport. You know, you wore your white shirt, your waistcoat, your bow tie. You know, every player looked the same. They played with the same equipment. But things have moved on a lot since then. And I think pool players are a lot more susceptible to trying out new things than snooker players as well. I mean, certainly, you know, probably more players in pool use a glove than not now, whereas it's still not a big thing in snooker, despite the obvious benefits to it. You know, there's no downside to wearing a glove, but there are a few pool players now playing with these, which is quite interesting. So I think once, you know, you can see trends happening in pool, that once a few people try something, it really takes off. You know, it just took a few people with a glove or with Taeum chalk. Dynasphere, these Ultimate Pool Dynasphere balls didn't even exist not that long ago. So these things can snowball. You know, just one person tries it, it takes off. And you can see there that I've cleared them up quite well. You know, there was no cannons there. I had no real difficulty. Probably the black just wasn't a great positional shot, but it was nothing to do with the cue there. I just didn't hit it particularly well. So I like the feel of it. I was able to maneuver the cue ball about how I wanted, so it plays well. I didn't get any kind of strange shots where the cue ball threw off differently to how I expected. There's good power in it. I like the feel of it within the grip. It feels great. I like the shaft. It is really, really slidey, which is quite good, because I've just went from a wooden cue where I feel particularly hot and under the weather here and things were sticky. So I am liking this. What I'll do now is I'll set up a few shots to really put it through its paces. We'll play some kind of deep screw back and topspin shots and side spin shots and see what it's like, see how it holds up to them. Okay, let's start with a backspin shot. We'll play some more kind of advanced positional shots here. You can see I'm hitting it a lot harder than I played any other shots. And the action that I got on the cue ball is really, really good there. It feels like there's a lot of power in this. I said before that I struggle with thicker cues to get that kind of action on it. So it's probably giving me more screw back than I would on anything else about that thickness, which is good. I'm getting a feel for it now as well. I don't know if you noticed on that one, because it's a thicker cue, I can hit slightly lower on the cue ball than I'm used to. So it's quite hard mentally to hit lower on the cue ball than you're used to. You just feel like you're going to jump the cue ball and then you underhit it. But that one there, I dug down a bit more, and you can see that I'm getting a good reaction to this. So certainly in terms of any kind of backspin shots that you would want to play, I don't think there would be any problems with this cue whatsoever. There's no doubt if I changed the tip on this, I would be getting even more reaction on there. I'll give you a warning here. This is where it could go wrong and I might look a little bit silly. As you probably know, whenever you pick up another cue, it is going to throw off different to the cue that you're used to. So I'm going to try and pot this yellow ball in here, but I'm going to play it with a lot of back left-hand spin. So what will happen is the cue ball will screw back to about here. Natural path of the cue ball wants to go there. The spin should take it down that way. So if I get good spin on this, the cue ball will come down that way. Now please, if I miss it, in fact, just pay no attention to the pot. Let's just focus on what happens to the cue ball, because I've got a feeling that I will miss this. Oh, little bonus there. So yeah, I thought that would happen. I thought that would miss it thick. Because this throws off more than my cue. I have got a titanium ferrule on my cue, so it's got minimal deflection on it. This throws off a bit more, so I aimed left, it pushed the cue ball to the right, which meant that I hit the ball thick, so it hit about there. Luckily, potted it in there. But did you notice, were you paying attention to the cue ball? Because the spin on it was tremendous. So the cue ball hit below the pocket, and it's ended up there. So look at that angle that I've created. That is a very unnatural angle. If we mirror that, so if we take that down there, it almost means that we're coming from, it's almost like we've potted the ball from there. But as you know, it was quite a straight shot. We've taken the cue ball into about here from this angle, and we've widened it right down there. So we've got lots and lots of spin, side spin with this. So let's play a top running spin shot now. So I've played one side spin shot. Let's see if I can use what I've learned from that one shot in terms of how much it pushes off to try and pot this one. So I'm going to play this with top left hand spin. So if I play with top spin, first of all, you can see the cue ball is wanting to come down here, like towards that black spot. If we put left hand spin on it, then we should be able to widen that angle and get down towards that cushion. So again, please don't pay attention to the pot. Let's just check the side spin. Forewarning, I will probably miss this. So top, I'm going to aim as if I'm missing it, and hopefully the cue ball deflects onto it. Oh, we've potted it. Wow, I didn't expect that. But look at where the cue ball's ended up. You could see that it spun down this way. Now the natural angle it wanted to come there, so we've really widened that angle up. So I'm really impressed with the side spin that I can get on this. One last challenge, can I break and dish with it? First up, I love how it breaks. I get a lot of power into this, and you can see that the balls split really well. They're very open, and I start with a couple of little screw shots here. So straight away, I'm getting a feel for how the cue can manipulate the cue ball, and I'm really impressed with it. 2 screw shots there. Now we're on to a follow through shot here, and then a deep screw off this one. I'm trying to leave myself a little bit of an angle on the last ball, so I screw through that one. There's not much I can do with this because it is just such a thin cut, so I pot it and leave myself a back double on this one. Double kiss there, and then flick the ball in with the cue ball. Such a lucky shot, and you can see that I enjoyed that one while leaving myself a simple black. Yes. So there you go, I was able to get the break and run with it, and it performed really well on the other challenges as well. It is a cue that I like, and mark my words, I believe these are going to flood the UK pool market very soon. Let me know in the comments if you agree with that, and lastly, I will put a link to the cue in the description, so go and check them out. There are quite a few others in there as well, and they are all pretty cool. Thank you.